Imagine I hand you a remote control that has only one button. It's a simple, unassuming device, but with a single press, it transfers a piece of your personal freedom to a stranger, someone who has no right to your choices, no stake in your life, and no authority to judge your decisions. You'd likely keep that remote in your pocket, safeguarding it, because you understand that once you press that button, you're surrendering something deeply personal and irreplaceable. But here's the unsettling truth. In our modern world, we do this every day, without even realizing it. Every time we pause to justify our actions, to explain our choices, or to seek approval from someone who didn't ask for it, we are metaphorically pressing that button. We're giving away our autonomy, our right to exist on our own terms, in exchange for validation we don't need. We're telling the world that our decisions are not valid unless someone else agrees on them. We're asking for permission to live our own lives, permission to wear what we want, to love who we choose, to make choices about our bodies, our time, and our values. And in doing so, we're reinforcing a culture where freedom is conditional, where self-determination is not a given, but a privilege granted by the approval of others. This is not just a loss of privacy or independence, it's a quiet erosion of the very foundation of personal integrity. We're not just asking for permission, we're giving up the power to define our own lives. And in a world where control is often equated with safety, we've come to believe that approval is the price of belonging. But the truth is, we don't need a permission slip to live. We already have the right. All we need to do is stop pressing the button. I want you to attempt something right now. Choose one aspect of yourself that you are pleased with. It might be a decision to give up alcohol, a new habit like getting up at 5 in the morning, or even a planned career shift. For the next 24 hours, I want you to commit to never explaining it to anyone. Avoid posting about it, don't defend it. Let it be yours, please. This transition from explaining to existing is the first step toward creating what the Stoics referred to as the internal citadel, a mental stronghold that is impenetrable. We live in a loud, crowded world. Between social media notifications and family gatherings, we feel like we are constantly standing in front of a judge and jury. We think that if we just explain why we're doing something well enough, people will finally understand us and give us their blessing. We believe that if we can just find the right words, the people who judge us will suddenly change their minds. But as our market analysis of human behavior shows, this leads to more conflict, not less. The more you explain, the more fuel you give people to argue with you. You are essentially inviting them to pick apart your life, one sentence at a time. Think about Marcus Aurelius. He wasn't just a philosopher. He was the leader of the Roman Empire, the most powerful man on the planet. He had millions of people watching his every move, ready to criticize him. Yet, he spent his time writing in a private journal, today known as the Meditations, to himself, not to the public. He never felt the need to go to the Senate and justify his morning routine or his personal diet. He knew that his character was his business and his reputation was everyone else's business. He understood a fundamental truth. People's opinions of you have everything to do with their own filters and nothing to do with your reality. If the most powerful man in history didn't feel the need to justify his path, why are you letting a random comment on the internet or a distant relative make you feel small? The real problem is that we've been conditioned since childhood to believe that explaining ourselves is a sign of being a good person. We think it's polite. We think it shows respect. But over-explaining is often a hidden sign of fear. It's a way of saying, please don't be mad at me for being myself. It is a submissive act. When you over-explain, you are subtly telling yourself that your choices aren't good enough on their own. You are looking for an anchor in someone else's approval because you don't have an anchor in your own soul. This leaks your mental energy like a broken pipe. Every time you defend your choices, you lose a little bit of the conviction you had when you made them. This is the agitation that keeps you feeling exhausted and stuck in 2026. You aren't tired because you're busy. You're tired because you're carrying the weight of everyone else's expectations. Stoicism offers a tough, but incredibly simple solution to this. Epictetus, who was born into slavery but died with a mind freer than any king, had a very specific rule. Let silence be your general rule. He didn't mean you should never talk to people. He meant you should stop using words as a shield or a bridge to find validation. When you stop explaining, you start building something the Stoics called the mystery. In a world where everyone shares every thought, every meal, and every minor frustration online, the person who stays silent is the one who looks like they have a secret power. Silence shows that you don't need anyone's permission to exist. It shows that your internal compass is so strong that external noise doesn't move the needle. Let's explore another interactive exercise that will help you understand how this approach feels when applied to real-world situations. Take a moment to think about the next time someone poses one of those why questions to you, the kind that immediately feels like a trap or an interrogation. You're familiar with these types of questions. Why are you choosing to stay home tonight instead of going out? Or why are you dedicating so much time and energy to that particular project? Or why did you make the decision to quit that job? These questions often carry an implicit judgment or expectation that you need to justify your choices with elaborate explanations. However, instead of falling into the pattern of providing them with a lengthy, detailed list of reasons and justifications for your decisions, I want you to practice responding with a simple, powerful four-word answer. Because it works for me. This concise response establishes a boundary while acknowledging that you've made a thoughtful choice based on what serves your own needs and circumstances best, without feeling obligated to defend or explain yourself further to others who may not understand or agree with your decisions. Then, and this is the most important part, you must stay silent. Don't add a single word after that. Don't smile nervously. Don't try to fill the gap. It will feel like an eternity. Your brain will literally itch to fill that silence with excuses because we are uncomfortable with being the odd one out. But if you can hold that silence for just 5 seconds, you will feel a surge of power you've never felt before. You are training your brain that your why belongs to you and no one else. You are setting a boundary that says, my life is not a debate. To truly reset your life according to this SOP, you must be okay with being misunderstood. The most successful people in history, the outliers we study, weren't the ones who explained themselves the best. They were the ones who acted with so much focus and so much conviction that the world eventually stopped asking questions and just started watching their results. You are the director of your own life story. You are the one who must live with your decisions when the lights go out at night. You don't see a director walk out onto the stage in the middle of a movie to explain to the audience why a certain character made a choice. The movie speaks for itself. The director knows that if the work is good, the explanation is unnecessary. If the work is bad, an explanation won't save it anyway. Think about the energy you waste every day in mental arguments. You're driving your car or you're in the shower, and you're practicing what you're going to say to that one person who always judges you. You are literally living in a courtroom inside your own head. Why? Who gave them that power? You did. You handed them the gavel the moment you decided their opinion of your life mattered more than your own. Stoicism is about taking that gavel back. It's about realizing that most people aren't looking for a logical explanation when they ask you why. They are looking for a way to project their own anxieties and concerns upon you. They will inevitably try to dissuade you from altering your life if they lack the courage to do so. You are providing them with the means to prevent you from moving forward when you explain yourself to them. Imagine a lion. A lion doesn't turn around and explain itself to the sheep when it decides to move through the tall grass. It just moves. It doesn't care if the sheep understand its vision or its goals. The lion is focused on the hunt. In 2026, we are surrounded by people who want to be the sheep people, who want everyone to be the same, to act the same and to explain why they are different. But you weren't meant to be part of the herd. You were meant to be an outlier. And being an outlier means being comfortable with the fact that people will talk about you behind your back. Let them. Their words are just vibrations in the air. They have no power over your internal citadel unless you open the gates and let them in. I want you to have the picture of the Stoic emperor in mind whenever you are tempted to defend yourself. He was aware that the person staring at you in the mirror is the only person you ever really have to answer to. The rest of the world can wait in line for an explanation they will never receive if that person is content with their decision and is acting bravely and honorably. The most powerful thing you can do today is to be unapologetically you. This doesn't mean being rude. It doesn't mean being a jerk. It means being so grounded in your own values that you don't feel the need to sell them to anyone else. Start your quiet revolution today. Stop being the defendant in a trial that ended years ago. Put down the microphone. Your life is not a press conference. It is a journey. And the only people who need to understand the path are the ones walking it with you.